Well, greeting campers. I'm up here in Fresh Pond on my way up to the mountains for my first hike of the season, going up to Lover's Leap. It's also my first time entering the Caldor Fire burn zone. I'm at Fresh Pond, which, as I recall, was very much in danger, and they managed to save it here. Good reason. This is the biggest blacktop for miles around, and this is where fire department did their staging. One of many places they did staging, but the bigger blacktop areas are the ones that had the best chance of surviving. You go off into the roads, that get smaller and smaller the farther you get from civilization, and more trouble you get. Apprehensive. I'm in terrible shape. I've taken some medicine last several months that enhances appetite, I was warned, and they're not kidding. I immediately put on 15 pounds on top of my excessive winter weight. Yeesh. So I'm a good almost 15 pounds heavier than usual when I'm backpacking. I think I was 195 last year. Jeez. It's not good. It's not good. So I had a really hard time getting myself ready to get going this year. I tried to go earlier, and I just couldn't get myself organized and together and in shape well enough to think that I could pull it off. I'm not so sure now. Fujita's coming in a week, and we're planning a little tiny hike. In fact, to Cathedral Lake, which I'm not sure if I've ever been to. I might have day hiked there once in the 80s, but it's not a place that people camp often because it's a tiny little lake. There's one little campsite, and it's pretty much a dead-end trail. It's not really a dead end, but in order to get to another campsite, you have to go over Mount Tlack, and nobody wants to do that. So apparently nobody reserves overnight for Cathedral Lake. Fujita did the booking this time, and all of our usual places on a weekend, since she's going to be here on a weekend, were booked up many weeks in advance, months in advance, except for this simple little hike, Cathedral Lake, which is 2.5-3 miles in the middle of the Emerald Bay area. It's in the very crowded touristy area. Anyway, pretty soon I'm going to be seeing some blackened forests, and I'm not really sure how I'm going to feel about that. Well, I'm hiking through Camp Sacramento, which is open for business and looks pretty normal. Looks pretty green too. But this is the edge of the Camp Sacramento. Look how hard they fought here. I mean, literally, this whole forest burned here, and this cabin is untouched. There are signs all over the place thanking there's already Nupita Trail, thanking the firefighters for their work here, even though that was many months ago. Wow. That hillside that I saw burning on the news is entirely burned. I think the trail goes above that, but it's going to be an interesting hike. But look how pretty it is right now. Just a typical mountain hike. Lots of wildflowers. Loud freeway noise. Wow. All of that stuff burned. Jeez, this is going to be grim. It's going to be sad. Talked to one of the staffers here. He said that he didn't sound too pessimistic about the way the trail looks. He pointed to a brown grove of trees. So you see a lot of that. But there's still green here and there. Oh, it's still beautiful right here. Wow. And overgrown. I'm usually Usually here earlier in the season. Breaking through a cobweb. Oh, and it's 10 degrees cooler right here. I think I'm going to take this in for a moment. I'm still recovering from driving, sitting for so long. And I'm a little bit freaked out. I was expecting it to be much worse. The first burned hillside I saw, I'd hardly even noticed it because it was 50% brown trees and 50% green trees. No black trees, which is what I was expecting. Ah, mosquitoes. That's nice. And then it just kept getting worse. And the first time it crossed over the freeway, you could tell that some serious shit had happened here. Everything was burned out. Down to the ground. Okay, I've got to put on some insect repellent, and I can't do that while filming and hiking. Wow. Burned hillside on Mount Ralston there. Damn. Well, I was stopped about 20 yards in the middle of all that green stuff. Put on my mosquito repellent, talked to the camera a bit. Walk uphill a little bit, and this is what's ahead of me. A burned out forest. And this is sad because it's a burned out forest for one thing, but I didn't bring any sunscreen because I wasn't thinking about the fire, because this is a forested walk usually. But there's a lot of sun coming through this forest now. You can already see recovery, but not trees. The trees are dead here. All of them, even the babies. Damn. So it's going to be interesting the next 20, 30 years as these trees topple over. I see 4 cabins at the base of this hill that I never knew were there before because of the forest. And they all survived too. And you can see the fire went right up to their door. God, you can even see the freeway from right here. Could never do that before. Huh. Never realized the freeway came that close to the trail. It sure does. Make that like 6 cabins. There's the S-turn of the freeway. Oh wow. I forgot. It used to be very rare that you could see, holy shit, that you could see horsetail falls through the trees. I didn't even bother trying to steal a look. But there's lots of opportunity to see it now. But I can't zoom in with this thing. So you just have to take my word that in the distance there's a big waterfall. Really big. Okay, I should stop talking to the camera, but I'm just so... I'm emotional here. I'm really grateful that it's not utterly destroyed, but it's really impacted. Well, here's a new bit of trail created by the firefighters that were climbing up the hill to fight the flames. My God, those guys are amazing. Freaking heroes. And there's new water pipes, obviously. Oh, there's a spring there. Never knew that was there either. How could I have missed that? How could I have missed that? Huh. Yeah, it's a spring. Huh. Weird. Huh. I just really don't understand how I didn't know this was here. But overall, the hike's pretty good. I mean, I'm a little freaked, but even though it's pretty damn warm out here, the lack of trees is helping the breezes blow. And you see a lot of this, a lot of green stuff, and then black stuff. Feeling reasonably good. which is a surprise, because I'm in terrible shape. Wow, into a deep burn zone here. Lots of water flowing. I don't remember all this water flowing so low. Wow. The trail is just fine, but the trees are dead. This is creepy. You can still see the freeway through the trees here. I'm in that zone of totally burned out trees that was visible from the highway, from the top of the mountain all the way down, with everything burned except for these here ferns. That's the only greenish stuff on this whole hillside. Man. Sure, I'm glad I didn't live up here when this was going on. It must have been just terrifying. I gotta say, this isn't the great trail it used to be, but I'll still get that payoff at the end. So I think I'll still happily use it as my annual warm-up. Some big old trees burned here. Plenty of firewood around here, that's for sure. In the middle of the burned out zone. You used to be able to see absolutely nothing from here except for trees. I can see all of the highway, more Horsetail Falls. Literally, there were 2 spots on the trail where you could stop, look through the trees, and see the falls. That's how many trees and how full they used to be here. And this wasn't one of them, I'm pretty sure. Without these trees here, I can really see the geography here. Here is the little hump. It's funny, I've never seen that from this trail before. And you can see down below the saddle, between here and that little hump. And it goes down steep, and then back up to the highway there. And you can still see Horsetail Falls. It's going out of view pretty soon. Man, this trail really doesn't feel right. It really feels like I'm too low. But if I'm almost above that thing, it can't be too bad. It just doesn't seem right. Yeah, you can see, obviously I lost my bearings and all my landmarks. Well, I had almost convinced myself that I was off the correct trail. And then I saw the road. The mystery road I've mentioned before. I'm on it now and I'm looking uphill. Looking well beyond how far I've gotten on it. And it is a road. There's just no doubt about it. I mean, there's this level part here. Right along all this steep hillside. And let's see if I can see where it goes after it meets the trail. Because it always just seems a dead end into the trail. Well, as I speculated in the past, I think you can go 2 ways from here. You go down this road here. I guess it went in between these trees here, yeah. And here's the trail. Now there's plenty of room for this road to do a switchback and head back down over the saddle there, back to Camp Sacramento. That would work. It also wouldn't be hard to imagine a road going through here. I mean, it's kind of hard now with all the trees in the way, but it's level, and they could have just cut a road through here and go on down to Camp what's it called, Strawberry. So I am on the right trail. It looks so alien. I feel like I'm 200 feet lower than I should be. This is a very different trail now. Still a good trail. I like it. It's a little bit sunnier than it used to be, but it's just fascinating. And it will be more and more fascinating as the wildlife recovers here. Well, I'm sitting down, taking a little sit-down break here. Something to eat, something to drink. I realized sometime after my last entry, there's no place to sit down on this trail. All the logs on the ground burned up, and I'm sitting on a rather small rock that's just big enough to hold my butt and looking at the scenery. It's just astounding. It's finally getting quiet. I'm finally far enough away from the freeway. But this is what I'm looking at here. Black trees as far as I can see. Pretty sad. Pretty sad. I'm at the very end of the easy trail. I'm after that relatively flat zone with a little bit of up. It's straight up now for the rest of the way. So I'm taking a little break. I didn't drink much water. I didn't eat much food beforehand, knowing that it's not that hard, but I'm beginning to pay the price now. But so I got to eat and drink before I do any more work. Well, the last bit of trail, everything was burned to a crisp. And I've just always kind of assumed that the trees at the top would be alive, but I wasn't so sure coming up here. But as you can see, the fire crested the saddle here, but it did not touch the very summit. All the trees and even the manzanitas doing just fine up here. That's a surprise. Thank God. Well, I did it. And I gotta say, I'm really pleased. The very end, my legs started feeling a little wobbly. But I certainly expected that. I expected a lot more of that than I actually experienced. Okay. It's going to get loud here. You're not going to be able to hear anything. Let's see what it looks like on the other side. Ah, the sign survived. Not what I was expecting. I was expecting pure black on the other side. And it's not pure black. There's some brown, there's some black, there's some green. You can see the little town of Strawberry did okay down there. And all the cabins at the base. Wow, I didn't realize that. Down there as well did okay. That's where all the cabins are, that's where the climbing starts. Okay, I'm going to sit in some shade and relax for a little while. Well, I'm sitting in my chair at the top of the mountain here, blissfully in solitude here. Near the edge, it is really windy, which is nice because I got pretty darn hot on the way up, and this feels great. I'm sitting in my little chair here, very comfortable, and I have not moved since I sat down. I had better get up and move around a little bit. It's been about 15 minutes of absolutely being frozen in place. I'm really happy with everything. The destruction of the forest is really horrible in places, but it's not nearly as bad as I imagined, which I imagined just a hellscape. And it's not a hellscape. It is in small areas. And going up higher from here, the fire was corralled into a tighter and tighter canyon. And I think it got a lot worse going up from here. I'll do a lot of filming on the way down because near the top, I saw so much interesting stuff. I was constantly wanting to stop and turn around and look backward because all the interesting stuff was behind me, but I'll do that on the way down since it'll be in front of me then. Okay, now for a full panorama. I'm in a little wind shadow here, so Don't expect me to do any talking after I walk out of it. But I wanted to do the full view from the top, very top here. Oh. You can hear my hiccups though, huh? Everything burned up there, everything. To the right is the Horsetail Falls watershed, and it's burned all the way up there. Below us here, that's the minor peak, sub-peak. You see a trail down there, which I've never seen before. Okay, now let's go to the other side here, and you can see the greatest overall destruction. This is looking east now. Yeah, I ate and drank too fast, I guess. And you can see just total destruction. A little bit of explainer. That's a Friel Peak in the distance there. The fire did not get that far. That's very far. Echo Summit is almost in view there. It's close to that. But yeah, this is where the fire really ripped it up. It went around, well, both sides of Mount Lover's Leap, and just burned all the way to the top of that mountain. That's almost 8,000 feet up there. Oh, I forgot. And there's a ski resort over there through the trees there. That was probably the biggest staging area of them all, this side of South Lake Tahoe. Cutting off the trail here, sorry about that. But man, you can see destruction. However, the top of the mountain is untouched. I remember seeing the video of fire just raging hundreds of feet in the sky on both sides of the peak. You can see Sierra Ski Ranch, the broad area there. God, it burned like crazy. I think there's a road, there's a white building there. Beyond that, I think is the resort. And that was, and what you can see here was like their last stand. Boy, that was a battle. That was a major battle. It's like wars, fighting these fires. It is an enemy that comes at you with everything it's got, and it's very clever. And I was fixed to the video screen when the fire was burning. There's a wonderful gal out there that on YouTube that does fire coverage, and she's good. She knows the area. She knows firefighters. She's got a network of people that contact her with info. She's got her fingertips on the on all these web pages that she shares through streaming on YouTube, including like where the air tankers are flying and where they're dropping their loads, and she's following the air tankers and the air tanker traffic and the radio traffic and the firefighter radio traffic. There's all this noise going on, all these web pages all over the place, and she makes sense of it all to give you the best known info. Eek! Imagine what it was like here. Raging up from that side, raging up from this steep side here. It's steep on both sides. Oh my God, it must have been horrifying. But anyway, this I was watching footage of this gal as it was all happening, and she was really on top of things. And she has these really hard, strict rules that that the site and the chatter and the forum along with it is for information purposes only. It is not for panicking people. Every now and then someone would type in, "Get the hell out of there! It's coming your way." she would just come down hard on those folks. You know, that is not the official ruling. Although there were times that she said, okay, I think that it's just too clear. And, you know, if you want to wait for the evacuation call at 2:30 in the morning, you can wait. But I would suggest you leave this evening. And she would do that a few times, and was always proven right. The fire always did what she said it would. Now, you know, I'm not saying she should be in charge of when people should be evacuating or not, because there's a lot to consider. Jeez, this is just a nightmare. Wow. And this mountain never looked so steep before, because there was always all these trees just a few feet away. But now, you know, you can see how steep it is here. Well, I could see how steep it is here. And in parts on the way up, I noticed it was actually dangerous. If you fell off the trail and rolled for a little while, you would roll over the steep part and just keep on going. Had never seemed possible before. Okay, have I done chatting it up? Yeah, I think I'm done. You can see the path of the fire took going up Mount Ralston. Definitely burned up most of that. And the ski resort, really can't see much from here. Okay, that's enough. Let's put away the camera. I don't know how I'm going to edit this stuff. Well, I survived. I'm back here at my car at Camp Sacramento. It's hot. Very nice hike down the trail. Sorry. Very nice hike. It was, I mean, it's almost to my back, so I wasn't walking into the sun, and it was quite breezy all the way. Talked to a couple that I met along the trail, also from Sacramento. Everyone's from Sacramento. What's up, brother? How you doing? And now I'm ready to hit the road back home. I'm really tired, but I did better than I thought I would too, so that's good. There's guys on the archery range back there. They're shooting the other way, fortunately. All right, let's get going.